Okay, so I'm getting ready to put my engine stand together. Jeez, 90 degrees again. Okay, let's do it. It says keep bystanders out of the area. So, I think I'm good. I don't see anybody. Well, this sure is packed a lot better than the engine crane was, but there's little styrofoam balls everywhere. I've just spent the past 10 minutes picking all this up as I was pulling out the parts. And there's all the parts there. There's not much to it. Of course, I got the fan going today because it's hot and it's just making it snow in here with all the styrofoam. So I've got the center beam attached to the post. I've got the front beam, the rear beam with the bolts that go on there. Just make sure you put these outer holes to the bottom because that's where the casters are going to go. And in the back, put the bracket down there to the bottom. The center beam just attaches with the bolt here on the bottom. Just snugs in. You can loosen it. I guess slide this in and out if you want to make it a little bit shorter, or take it apart to fold it up. For the rear wheels, they just use a little piece of tubing as a bushing. That just goes right in the wheel. Cheap bearing. Put the bolt through and you're done. So I'm not sure how far to tighten this down. I think if you see in there, you can see there's a gap between that piece of pipe that they're using as a bushing for the wheel and the flange. I'm pretty sure I can crank it down all the way, but I don't want something to crack, like that little bracket, or crack the weld. I don't know. I might leave it that way for now and maybe put some Loctite under there so it doesn't come out. I don't think it's a big issue, but we'll see what happens. For these front casters, I'm using a 19 millimeter wrench. This is a ratchet. It has a ratchet on the end because you cannot do this with the open end. You just can't turn it back and forth. There's not enough room to really get in there. On the other side, the shaft was spinning as I was tightening it, so I had to put a little wrench. You can just barely get a wrench on that nut on the bolt. This side seems to be working okay. Click! So I've gotten all the casters on there. Already I see there's a little problem. This thing has a twist to it, so one of the wheels isn't even touching the ground. It rocks a lot. You can see how far the wheel comes off the ground. So that's not going to work. I can either shim a washer under here maybe, or shim under here. Or what I'm going to try first is just loosen this bolt here, and loosen both of these and see if I can twist it over. I think there was a lot of play in these bolt holes. Well, I had some of these big flat washers laying around. I think there's some kind of body washer for my car when I bought a part for it. But anyway, it took 3 of them to get it so that all 4 wheels are now touching the ground. But as you can see, this thing is leaning way over. Where's the level? So it's not even close to standing up straight. So I'm going to have to take those shims out and put them on the other side, because it's more important that this post is level than the crossbars. They don't have to be level, they just need to be touching the ground. Okay, now I got it level. I ended up having to use all 4 of those flat washers that I have. It's a pretty good stack on there. And I couldn't get that split washer on the inside because there wasn't enough thread in there. I may take that other washer out too. I'm not sure what to do about that, but I'd rather have all those big flat washers on the bottom than putting them up here, because at least this way I got this flat surface all the way across touching. If I start jacking up one side, it's definitely not going to be sharing the load evenly on there. Once again, I'm all sweaty. It's hot. So just in case you're wondering, I needed a 14, a 17, and a 19 millimeter to get it done, or you could just use a couple of adjustable wrenches. If you go with box end wrenches or these little ratchet wrenches, you're going to need 2 of them, because unless you got Superman fingers, the other side's just going to spin around on you. So it's all together, except for that having to shim that one wheel up because it was welded crooked. I think it's going to do fine. The only issue I can see I'm going to have right here is this pin. This is kind of wonky, especially when you pull it out and then rotate it around. This thing shifts back a little bit, which it's going to do because it's sloped and you got the weight of the engine going on there. So when it slips down like that, you rotate it, you can't get that pin back in there. So I don't know if you can see it, but the hole doesn't quite line up. You're going to have to rotate this thing back and forth with the engine on there and push it up. And you can drop that pin in there. So I guess you could just drop a screwdriver in there. I know that's what some people do, and then it doesn't matter if the pin lines up, but that just gives you more slop. So anyway, there it is. Just waiting for the storm to come.